Now that we know how to add, edit, and delete projects, we need to know how to add some designs to our projects in order to make it look a little bit more pretty. So let's go ahead and add some designs by clicking on the Add Designs button up here at the top left. And you can see that you can browse by the sections, the specific layouts, or in the future we will also have some elements that you can drop, and this will be like buttons or videos and many other types of elements. But for now, that is still in the works. So let's go ahead and go to the sections and click on a header. And I'm actually going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to select one of our newest templates, which is this code delivery. It's kind of like a CI/CD service called code delivery. So I can go ahead and drop this design here, and then you can see I can go ahead and click on any specific element and I can live edit the text. So I can say it's like pizza delivery for my code or for your code. And you can see that it also gets updated over here on the left. We have the text content. So you could also update the text over here and it will live update in the interface. Then we can choose to change the font. So right now it is using this nice Google font called Questrial. So I can go ahead and remove this and you can see that the font family changes. You could then always just add that back just by typing it in and pressing enter. Next, if we wanted to see what this design looks like in a responsive menu, we can hover over the right of the canvas and we can drag it inwards and you can see that the design will change. So let's go ahead and add another design in here and let's go to the logos. I'm going to drag this logo in here and let's add one more. So let's find some content. And this is all designed for this one specific page called Code Delivery. You can see that they all kind of match. So if we scroll down, it has this logo cloud for these kind of pizza delivery services. And then we also have this content, which is kind of showing you some of the services that this specific site offers. So when you hover over each specific component or each section, you can see that you have this delete icon, or you also have like a move up icon. So you can click on the move up and it will move that specific section above or below the previous section. So let's go ahead and delete this and you can see that that will be deleted. And of course, if you wanted to add that design back, we can just come back over here to the logos and drag that back in, and then we could scroll down and move this back up. So it makes it very simple to reorder your components. And you could always just drop one component in and edit this component if you would like to, change the full website right here inside of this specific component if you would like. But breaking them up into different sections just makes it a little bit easier to work with if you ever wanted to delete a specific part of the design or move it up or down. Now, most of these design blocks or these design sections are wrapped in a section tag. So if we go ahead and click on the outermost element, we can see that this is indeed a section element. And if we open up the code editor, you can see that the main element is a section. Then we have the nav and we have some divs in here. So let's go ahead and tidy up this HTML. And one thing that I do want to mention is you will notice a few classes in here. So there is this tail selected element, and this is actually what is telling the interface which element is currently selected. So make sure not to remove this class. We may change the way this works later, but for now, just make sure to keep that class intact. And you'll also notice that this content editable is set to true, and this is possible so that way we can go ahead and click on some of the text and then we can live edit the text. But whenever you export your design, that content editable will no longer be there. So just know to keep both of those as you are editing here inside of the interface. But when you do export your design, this will not be included. So I just want to make sure to point that out because if you do remove this class, it will cause a little bit of funky behavior. And again, we may change the way that works later on, but for now, just make sure to keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm going to close this, and instead of a design block, I'm going to write a custom design. So I'm going to select layouts, and maybe I want to select this 2-column layout. I'm going to go ahead and drop this into the canvas, and I'm going to move this up into the second spot. Okay, so we have this layout element that we can go ahead and select, and we can open up the code editor. And this will make it easy if we want to add some custom designs. So maybe we want to add an image over here on the right. I'm going to go ahead and go to unsplash.com and find a few images. So let's go ahead and add this image here. Just going to say copy image address. And I'm going to put this image right in here. So you can see if you were just opening up a code editor, you can do the same thing that you would do here by just adding this image. We'll give it a class of wfull hfull, and we'll say object cover. And let's go ahead and make sure that this rounded MD also has overflow hidden, and let's get it a shadow XL. And now you can see that we're kind of designing this custom design right here. So what we could also do is we could also click on this specific image, and instead of just manually entering the image URL up here, we could actually upload our own image. So clicking on the change image button, we can choose to upload an image or provide a link URL. So let's go ahead and upload an image. I think I called this photo.jpg. So we'll go ahead and find the image and click on open, and you'll see that it will upload the image and then replace it right here in the interface. So this makes it a lot easier to add our own images or modify the images on the page. And of course, if we wanted to jump back to some of the parent divs, again, we can select these buttons right here and we can jump back to the main section, and you can see that we have that image that we just uploaded right here. So let's go ahead and remove this first block, and you can see that the image stretches right here. So you can use all the custom CSS that you want to. You can also use some of the just-in-time. So if we wanted this to have a custom background, we could do that just by adding, let's go ahead and try a gradient. We'll say gradient to right, and maybe we want this from, and we could choose a specific hex value. So we could say kind of like a red, and maybe then we can make this go to a pink of 500, and you can just come up with all the different colors that you would like. So this is using the Tailwind CSS just in time, so you can use any custom values that you would like, and it will automatically be applied to your website. And when you do actually save your website, you will also get a minified version of that CSS. So let's go ahead and preview this site. And if I open up the developer tools and I search inside of the head, we are going to see that we have this style. And this is the minified Tailwind CSS that we need for this specific design. So it makes your pages super fast because it doesn't include all the Tailwind, the unnecessary Tailwind utilities that you have even in other pages. Only the CSS that you need for this specific page will be applied. So that is just the basics of adding, editing, and deleting some designs. There's a lot more to it. Kind of just play around and get familiar with it. And of course, if you do have any questions, be sure to ask us and we can help you out. So let's dive into the next video where I'll be teaching you about adding, editing, and deleting pages for your website.